Just before I start this episode, I would like to wish everyone a very happy new year. I want to wish all wanderers a great year ahead, full of happiness and full of mind wandering to all your random topics and ideas that hopefully I will get to. I just want to make a small announcement as well before we start the show. The podcast will now only be released every fortnight on a Sunday. So that is every fortnight on a Sunday. And I hope in between I might add in some extra episodes just to keep you guys topped up. So yeah, let's get back to the show. You are now tuned in to the Mind Wanderers podcast, the podcast where we wander and explore the world around us. I'm your host, Timi Sheteolu, and this is episode 5. Hello and welcome to the Mind Wanderers podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. I want to say a quick thank you to anyone who's listened to the last episode called Politically Fluid. For any of you guys who have not heard that episode, I think it'll be really interesting for you guys to check it out. Find out where you find out where you are on the political scale, find out what you think about social freedom, find out what you think about economics, and just all in all, give yourself a bit more depth to who you are. So yeah, please go check out that last episode and please go check out any other episodes of the Mind Wanderers podcast. So at the end of the third episode, I don't know if any of you guys remember, but I did say I will get a guest onto the podcast. So I have now done that, and now here he is.
Hey guys, how are you guys doing? My name is Deji Sheteolu. I'm currently a finance graduate and also the founder of Obsidian Network.
Yes, he is.
Just to briefly talk about Obsidian Network, it's basically a platform for young black males. There isn't really an age limit, that just to provide them a platform for them to connect and to prosper in whatever personal or career ventures that they're really going on.
So just to let you guys know, the whole reason I started this podcast was actually inspired by this man sitting here. I don't know if you heard his surname, but if you did hear his surname, then you know, yes, he is my brother, Deji Sheteolu, Timi Sheteolu.
Come on.
2 + 2 does equal 4. So I have my brother here on the first episode of the Mind Wanderers podcast. I believe him to be a fellow mind wanderer.
Yep.
And I just want to firstly say, I just want to give him a quick shout out because I've never seen someone so dedicated towards something that they're growing themselves. And when it comes to the Obsidian Network, I remember I would come home, I would probably be like, go sit down, eat some food, probably watch Rick and Morty or some shit. And I will have my brother there just working away. I'll be like, what are you working on? And he was just like, I want to create this network of just young professionals because I never had that when I was at uni. And at the time, I just thought, okay, that's a pretty cool idea. But now, as I've seen it grow and grow, just through sheer hard work, determination, and basically building a network of people around you, he has managed to build the Obsidian Network, and I'm very proud of him. So there would be no Mind Wanderers podcast if there is no Obsidian Network.
I'm flattered.
Just wanted to let you guys know that before we start.
It's great to be here, bro. It's great
so
to be here.
Thank you very much for joining me today, Deji. What we're going to be talking about today, so that you guys know as well, it is on the topic or theme of networking. And networking is a foundation to our life, effectively, because when you look at how the world has managed to get itself to the stage it's at now, it's all through different sorts of relationships that have effectively collaborated and built different innovative ideas or structures, or just groups of people who have been able to lean on one another or support one another through hard times. And we've seen how fundamental this concept of networking is to our lives. And I thought it would be a really cool theme just to look through and understand. And as I have someone here who is actually, as we speak, cultivating a network, cultivating a community, I thought it would be a really good idea to explore that theme with Deji today.
Yeah. So, as I said before, the Obsidian Network is just a platform for young black males to connect with one another.
Just young black males? Is there
Young,
anyone else?
uh, the thing is, young and old, but yeah, as it is right now, it's currently for young black males. As you already said, university. I felt there was a void that needed to be filled, and like I could have been complaining for God knows how many years, but I finally took the leap of faith, to create a network full of young black males. Right now, we're around 250 members,
Cheeky.
full of ambitious young black males. And yeah, it's thriving, but, we're looking to go to even higher heights, and I guess this is just the start of it. And I think the main essence of it was just to kind of provide the stepping stones into creating a community of young black males who thrive off of each other, as I felt that was needed in my life. So yeah.
And to be honest, fun fact, me and Deji both went to the same university. So whatever experience he went through, I, being another young black male, I probably went through something similar as well.
Probably did.
And I do understand where it's coming from. A lot of the time when we're growing up, we sometimes don't actually have a community that is devoted to the advancement of ourselves or us as a person. You may have groups of friends that are like that, but you don't have an outside network of people that are, their main aim is for the whole group to thrive, not just for a particular project. And so I thought it was a really cool idea. It's thriving, and that is the testimony to any idea is how much engagement is coming with the idea, and with the amount of people that are joining every single day. I feel this is a really cool idea. It's something that's going to be massive. I can see it getting massive. I can see people in government thinking, no, we need to talk to someone in the Obsidian Network in order to gain access. Yeah, because sometimes, just like how your parents may say, you're not going to listen to me, but you'll listen to your older cousin. Yeah. I feel it's the same way as certain young black people won't listen to an older white person. They need people with it who've gone through their way of life, who understand the way they speak, who understand the way they move, in order to take that information in and for it to resonate with them a lot more.
And I think just to add on to that as well, like just as you said about kind of gaining different things from different people, or being able to actually understand the message from a certain person. For example, in university, I had a mentor who was a successful white guy in his industry.
Successful white guy? No way.
such a surprise. But yeah, so, and it was a good experience, but I don't feel like there was that sort of connect that I thought could have been had with someone of my own color, or someone who's been through my own experiences as well. So I just feel like that's another kind of facet that I really want to include or involve in my network as well. Just the fact that you can look to other young black males older than you that have been through the same experiences and connect on that level, rather than having someone who doesn't know your experiences at all, doesn't understand it, but it's just kind of regurgitating what they've done in their life, but it doesn't connect with you. So that's another facet of the Obsidian Network that I feel is extremely important, especially within our society right now.
Yeah, no, that is very, very true. So there's one thing I like to start each episode with, and I'm now going to call it, you are the first person to hear this, it's now going to be called Wonder of the Week.
Wonder of the Week, I like it.
Wonder of the Week. So Wonder of the Week is effectively, where's the most random place your mind has taken you to this week, and elaborate on that.
Okay, I'm trying to think. Actually, there was an article not really article, but an event that happened this week in, was it Australia or New Zealand?
I think I know which one. Yeah.
I think it was about the volcano erupting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was just reading about that, and they said that there weren't any kind of significant signs that the volcano was going to erupt.
Mm-hmm.
But then that kind of got me thinking, like, just the whole aspect of a volcano, that they are both destructive, but they also create as well. Because, like, there are islands, there's land that's been created by volcanoes. Because, of course, I'm not too sure. I'm not a scientist.
The geography around it.
Yeah. Like, once the magma settles and everything, that of course creates land. But at the same time, it's very destructive in terms of how it, I think right now the death toll has gone up to 15, and it destroys the settlements that are surrounding the area.
Yeah.
So it just got me thinking, like, a volcano, you can't really hate these volcanoes because they're part of the reason why a lot of our lands are here now in terms of the formation of our land. But at the same time, they're very destructive.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to see one, but
Yeah. Oh, I want to see one that's sleeping.
Yeah. That's my one of the week.
Oh, that's really, really, really cool. Have I ever thought about volcanoes like that? I've never been to a volcano. And
me neither, luckily.
Yeah, luckily, yeah. At the moment, no, I don't think I'm gonna go visit any volcano. Yeah, but that's very interesting. No, I haven't, because you also get underwater volcanoes as well. And I'm just trying to think, what did they do? So is it that they release the magma and it just immediately cools and then? I don't even know.
Yeah, actually read about that. Well, I think it said it in the article. So basically, what happens is that it depends, because due to the sheer pressure that is in the volcano, sometimes when it erupts, the amount of pressure within the tunnel of the volcano, it just instantly turns the water into steam. And so then I think, I'm not too sure of the radius or the circumference that you have to be around the eruption, but anything gets like burnt or hit by the steam, because the pressure is ridiculous, and so anything around that gets kind of, is it decimated or is it
vaporized?
Something like that. But I'm not a scientist, but I know that
why not?
Yeah, the steam from when it erupts is crazy in terms of its impact for the things around it.
Oh yeah, no, that is quite interesting. I haven't actually thought about volcanoes that deeply. But for my wonder of the week, I met a really interesting person this week when I was doing my course, and he asked me, why are most paintings in square? And I was just thinking, oh shit, that's true. Why are most paintings square or like rectangle? Why is that? And me being me, I decided to do some further research. And
of course you did.
It boiled down to the answer of, back in the day when people made paintings, firstly, they needed a way to transport them without them getting messed up. And when they used to paint it, they found that these wooden frames were quite good for keeping pictures in place. And then it also added to this idea of a picture is effectively a space in someone's mind. And so they thought the square shape was it looked like you're looking into a window. And when you're looking into a window, you're looking inside like a different reality. So the reason why they stuck with the sort of square shape was because it always added this element of looking into a different reality, into the painter's mind or something. So that's why they effectively stuck with it, and also because it's quite portable.
Because I think when it comes to that, like, let's say portraits were circle. Or like, let's say they're oval, like, and not square. Like, how did that change our perception of that? Even if how do you think it would change our perception of just portraits or like art?
I'm not too sure, because once you don't normally get a lot of paintings that are in a circle frame. Effectively, you don't get a lot.
But that's because, as you just said, it started off because it was square. Like you said,
it started off square.
Started off being square. So I'm saying, like, what about if it was circle? Let's say circle was easy to transport, and people like seeing.
But then windows aren't square, so I think the whole reason why they stuck with the square sort of shape was because it made it look like you're looking into a different reality.
But I swear, didn't Doctor Strange to look for another reality? He did the. He made an oval. No, it was an oval.
It was an oval. Yes, it was an oval.
Yeah. So
Marvel, get your shit straight.
Get your shit straight, man. But yeah.
But yeah. Okay. So before we digress too much, going back to why I've actually invited Deji over here to speak with me today.
Yeah.
Apart from being a fellow mind wanderer, someone who thinks outside the box, someone who tries to just learn more things about the world around them, allows their mind to wander. So he allowed his mind to wander to the idea of the Obsidian Network. And even though the name does say network, I would just want you to do you believe it's a network or a community?
Just seeing it over the past few months, I say it's a community, just because of the notion that a network is just a bunch of different relationships, a bunch of different personal, no, I say personal, but interpersonal relationships between a number of different people.
That's actually quite true. Yeah.
But the Obsidian Network goes a lot deeper than that. So I'd call it a community because I feel a belonging in the network, and that's what community is all about. Community is all about you having a belonging into maybe it's even a social circle. You know, it could be your workplace. It can be a lot of few places, but you have a belonging in that certain place. And I feel that I do have a belonging in the group of black men that the Obsidian Network resides. And so I feel a lot of people do have that sense as well, especially because from the testimonials or like just people talking to me about the network, they feel that they have been able to come to it for their personal issues as well as their professional issues as well.
Oh, okay. So best of both worlds, effectively.
Exactly. And I feel networks really focus on one thing specifically, but the Obsidian Network focuses on a range of things.
Okay.
So both, as you said, both professional and personal things as well. So yeah, I'd call it a community, but just on the basis that I have a belonging and others have a belonging in the network. Yeah,
and I do feel a belonging because I wouldn't say I was part of the first people to join.
No, you
I wouldn't say I was part of the first. But after I did join, I've started to see the community feel about it. You have individuals from various walks of life who now feel part of this group, who have all agreed upon this sort of mantra of helping fellow young black males, whether it be personally or professionally. And I just feel like that idea has such it has so much legs to it in terms of because nowadays, and you said the reason why you started it, or I remember you telling me the reason why you started it was because you felt you didn't have that sort of network or community. You do have ACS groups and whatnot, but let's for anyone who's been to uni, I know what ACS is. We all know that with all the good ACS can do, there is sometimes a element of it's
lacking in some areas.
Yeah, it's lacking in some areas, and sometimes the seriousness of what it's meant to establish can sometimes get lost. I'm not saying in all situations. So ACSs don't come and say, "Oh, my one podcast says ACS is shit." No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying because I have been to ACS when I was actually one of my best friends was the president of the society when I was there. But he was the president of when he was there, and I'm not saying it was for fun. He definitely put he's all into it. But I think the general consensus as we speak here now is sometimes ACS is a bit of it's more social than it is a case of building a network and a community.
And not to go into ACS, but I feel like just during my university experience, I don't feel that I had that. There was kind of a void for me when it came to the representation of black men as kind of figureheads in industries, in life in general as well,
like as role models.
As role models essentially. And of course, I have my own circle but with my circle in university, it was more on the socializing aspects. But there was that void where I wanted to, professionally, I wanted to grow as well. And just in terms of my character, my personality, just my skills, there was that void where I thought, I'm sure there's other black men in the world that are also aspiring to improve those things as well
and get to those further levels,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
need advice as to how to get to those levels.
Exactly. And I also heard from other friends as well that they like it's not as easy to I feel connect with other black men in that sense.
Okay.
So that's why I thought to create the platform where it's a lot easier through initially through WhatsApp. We're moving to Telegram now, but initially on WhatsApp, and I feel that medium is a lot easier to connect with other people who are he may not be the same in every sense, but you've got those common bases where whether it's the industry that you work in, whether it's the hobby that you do, where you come from, there's always that relatability that I feel as black men we have and like we have the most in common, for example.
So you would say a main benefit of the network is effectively to bridge that gap between people who are looking to either network or connect with fellow young black people and the people who have something to give. Because so I do sometimes feel a lot of people have information, knowledge, skills that they can offer to other people. However, no one wants to feel like they're selling themselves effectively. So no one wants to then be going out putting it on blast. So once you're part of a community, it's like a good example I can say is for myself. I started a podcast. I needed some animation material and I didn't know where to go. I was about to go onto Fiverr, which and that has it's a bit disconnected in a degree because it's still in a professional capacity. However, through the network I managed to meet these really cool guys, Clapped and Eddie and MD. Eddie and MD, and they created an animation for me, which I was so completely astounded by because it was so good. But the whole point of what I'm trying to say here is this was it was bridging that gap effectively and it's enabling collaboration as well.
Essentially, and like even I've got my own story. When it came to like through the network, I've been able to go speak on my first podcast, which was Tag Me In Podcast.
Oh, okay, I've funny enough been on that one as well.
We both been on it.
Shout out Tag Me In Podcast. Shout out Anton and Ola.
So like I had the opportunity to go onto my first podcast through the network, and also I was able to volunteer at schools. Okay. Because of individual through the network.
Through the network.
And
okay.
So the network kind of exposes me to so many more opportunities that I probably would not have been able to experience through the networks, to the relationships that I've been able to build through it. And even I've got one strange story where one of my friends, he works at a bank, he joined the network. Okay. And he just threw in a question into our chat saying, anyone from the bank work there also? Yeah. And he found two other people from the bank that works there, but he didn't know them before. And like that does show me the power of a network, because
that is crazy.
Yeah, but possibly without the presence of the network, without that platform, they may have never met. Yeah. And now it's a case where they're able, at least they know that they've got someone they can go to. Yeah.
And whenever you're part of a group, just like Fight Club, for example, you always see, if you see someone else who's part of that club, you automatically have something in common. Exactly. And whether it be you need someone to go, like if you guys have the same hobbies or same interests, you can then find someone. If you have it, like for example, I'm very interested in going to exhibitions sometimes, and if no one's around to follow you, this is just another avenue to find someone else who actually has interest in what you have interest in too. So no, that is really, really good. One question I really like, because whenever I think of networks, I'm always just thinking, okay, if I join a network now, I may benefit, but what could be the potential disadvantages of a network? Because that's another, when you're exploring a topic, you can't just always say it's all good, it's all good. So what, from your experience from creating the network and from maintaining it and getting it up to this point, what would you say is a potential downside of networking?
I think through my experience of the network, I feel that sometimes you may get lost within the network. Okay. And when I say that, it's not like people overshadow you, but I feel sometimes you may not know when to get in, when you're seeing people, conversating, it may not be something that you're interested in. And if you constantly see that, you may become disinterested in the network. And yes, I'll say sometimes you can feel lost within the network, even though it's a platform for you to use, but it may not be what the general things that people talk about, meet about, may not be what you're interested in. So I thought the disadvantage sometimes for a network is that what it covers may not be specifically what people are really interested
looking
in,
for.
and
Okay.
that may make them feel lost, not kind of I won't say valued, but their interests may make them feel, what's the word I'm looking for? Alienated.
Yes,
is
yeah,
the word.
that's the good word. Yeah.
A feeling of alienation, which I have seen, and especially because with a network, because we're based in London, I live in London as well, so it's quite hard for people outside London to actually get involved,
Right.
and that's another feeling of being lost, because I'm the only one in, let's say Scunthorpe. let's say Scunthorpe.
Yeah, Scunthorpe.
Let's say
Okay,
Scunthorpe. I'm the only one in Scunthorpe, but everyone else is in London. And it's not like we've gone out to do that explicitly or like on purpose, but sometimes that's just what happened.
Oh, okay. As a result.
Yeah, as a
but
result,
the flip side to that argument could be it's good that you're even reaching people that far.
Yeah.
So there's that flip side as well. But that's very interesting that you say sometimes individuals can get lost within the group.
Yeah.
What would you say to those individuals, for anyone who might not be part of Obsidian or part of another group where they're somewhat feeling a bit lost? What would you advise to them to somewhat at least make it beneficial for them? Or
I think one thing that you can do is try your best to go out of that comfort zone, to just think that, okay, I'm the only one in this network, and I'm the only one, but why are you the only one?
Yeah.
If you understand what I mean, they're like, it's impossible that you're the only one.
Yeah, and that's one thing the internet has showed us nowadays, that you're rarely the only one with a particular thought or particular way of doing things. So
it's like you're not the only one. Let's say for a specific place, it's very, very, very rare that you're the only one who's in that situation as well. And sometimes it just takes for you to take a step out of your comfort zone, to go and search for those who are in the same position as you, or who's got that same problem as you, or who you also want to be who you want to join the network with, for example. And so you have someone that you can actually go and meet with and everything. And as well as that, if it's a case where you may, for example, maybe too far from a network, sometimes there may be ones local to you.
Yes.
In which you can use as well. I've just joined one that's a bit more local as well, so there's usually opportunities for you locally as well.
Okay.
But when it comes to a network in its totality, I'm trying to think any advice I can give. It's quite hard, because in the age of social media and the age of instant messaging, you have the ability to speak to people like without any barriers at all. But I guess it's your physical presence sometimes.
Yeah.
If you're able to go there, then it may be quite difficult for you to feel like you're part of that network. But the best you can do is find someone that's local to you, or try your best to go out and actually meet people.
And the reason why that's so, I guess, so relevant to me is on the basis that I would see myself as someone naturally where I don't normally come out of the podcast. For me is one of the first steps moving out of my comfort zone, and second part is I'm not someone who would join a local community or who would do something like that. So when you're now saying that is the best way to go about networking, it's somewhat speaking to me as well, because in order to get things done in this day and age of the internet, it's best to build as good a network as possible. And definitely, that network will then evolve into a community. However, sometimes people expect that network to be ready-made and for that network to just exist somewhere and they'll stumble upon it.
Yeah, like I think with that, one thing that I have seen over the course of since the network has been created, it's the net. Of course, like this is, of course, common sense, but the network is made of people, and the network can only be thriving, or the community can only be thriving by those who are in the community. So if people aren't, for example, contributing any information, resources, anything that creates what the community is, then it won't thrive. It won't exist, because the community is just made up of the people that are within it. Yes. And if none of those people are proactive, doing anything to actually make maybe fulfill the objectives of that community, then the community might as well not be there. Essentially.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. But yeah, no, thank you very much for that. I did have another question for you, and I want to find out, do you know what a Maven is? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Don't check your phone. Tell the truth.
Hey, my friend's a bit far right now. No. I think the word is familiar. The word is familiar, but no.
So I believe somewhat in the Obsidian Network, you may be hosting a lot of Maven people right now. And that is because a Maven is someone who is part of a vast network of connections, and they're so senior within that connection that they act as though they're the tipping point for particular ideas. So okay, let's say one person has an idea, who tells a second person, who tells a third person, who tells a fourth person. However, with all the first four people that have been told, nothing has actually come about from that idea. It's just basically word of mouth for now. However, if that fourth person then tells a fifth person being a Maven, that Maven person is basically the person who takes an idea from an idea and transitions it into like the actual product, or basically executes it. So what I believe the Obsidian Network has at the moment is a lot of Mavens.
So
would you count yourself as a Maven?
I wouldn't, just in terms of, because I don't think for myself to be one of those sort of people, but I think I am at the end of the day. Let me pick myself up for once. I feel like I'm a Maven, and Mavens are important. I guess Mavens are always important for anything to happen at the end of the day. I'd think, but yeah, like I see myself as a Maven.
Yeah, and it's also it can be in regards to people as well. So say if one person wants to meet another person, a Maven is that individual in between those two that acts as the shortest point of person A being able to reach person B.
I'm a Maven then. I'm a Maven. Yeah, big up myself.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be in regards of a product or an idea. But I really like this idea of Maven, and then I saw it. The idea actually came about from an individual called Malcolm Gladwell, and he went on to describe something called a Super Maven. And a Super Maven was essentially someone who, through their vast network that they have accumulated through their life, through traveling, through joining different groups, through being part of different organizations, different workplaces, has built up this massive network of people that they are connected to. And therefore they are like essentially the center point for that. And that is what you call a Super Maven. And if I wanted to give a really good example
I know the person.
I don't think you do. Let me say it. So if I wanted to give an example of someone who's a Super Maven, have you guys ever heard of someone called Clarence Avant?
Of course I have.
No. Okay, so who's Clarence Avant?
So that's the thing. You can't really put a specific role on, like a specific title or role on.
Sorry, also his name is the Black Godfather.
Yes.
I really like that name.
So like Clarence Avant is basically as you said, the Black Godfather, who's been the kind of puppeteer. No, not really puppeteer, but
Super Maven.
It's a Super Maven. Yeah, that's the word. It's a Super Maven within the entertainment. Actually, music is underneath entertainment. But let me just go under. So the music, film, radio. What other industries has he worked in?
Film industry.
Politics as well.
Politics as well. Yeah.
And so basically, what he's done, he's been the center point of all these industries, or whenever deals have to be created, and he's the one that is the person who brings people together. So, for example, when I'm trying to think, when.
Just not to cut you off, just to exemplify what Deji is actually referring to right now. I'm just gonna play a song, and I want to find out if you guys have heard of this song before. Sorry, I didn't know at the beginning it takes so long to move it.
Long ass beginning.
I'm just gonna skip this a bit.
Okay, that gives it away. Come on. that gives it away.
So I just wanted to find out. So the Clarence Avant character that we are referring to, he was the man behind making Lean On Me such a global hit. There is no Lean On Me because Bill Withers, who actually sang the song, didn't want to put that out as a single. It was this super maven called Clarence Avant who had his hands in so many different pies because he was so gifted in networking and being able to bring people together in order to collaborate. And so I just wanted to really just like discuss Clarence Avant and how you're aspiring to be effectively the new Clarence Avant.
I've got some big shoes to fill if I'm trying to call myself
I personally think you can do it. I personally think you can do it.
So one of the reasons why I feel Clarence Avant is something that I'm aspiring to is specifically from the documentary on Netflix. You can find it on Netflix that I watched, and where it just goes through his life talking about all the different places where he's had what's this? Oh, Lean On Me. It just goes through all the different stages of his life where he's had such an influence on bringing people together. So, for example, when it comes to E.T., he was actually the pivotal point of the music behind E.T. So what had happened is that he took the pianist from a popular kind of pop group back in the I can't remember what specific era it was. So he took the pianist from a group to then produce some of the music on E.T. The film Extraterrestrial, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But he wanted Michael Jackson to actually narrate the music from that movie.
Oh, okay.
So he wanted Michael Jackson to narrate the movie, but however, Michael Jackson was under CBS, and I think the pianist was under some other different record label. But what Michael Jackson did was that he actually produced an album for E.T. Without the permission of CBS. And the owner or the CEO of
Sue your ass.
literally, he put a restraining order on the actual album that Michael Jackson had produced for it. But what Clarence Avant did was that he there's a picture even he sat everyone down, and I think within I can't remember how many minutes he sorted out the deal between CBS, Michael Jackson's album, and the pianist who would help produce the music.
That's crazy.
And helped it to produce the music for E.T. And then E.T. went to become, I don't know.
The Black Godfather.
It's like E.T. was one of the biggest movies from back in the day.
And he played a pivotal role in that.
And such a pivotal role in it, and it's just examples like that where I want to be the bridge between different people. Like, as humans, we always have problems, or things that we want to deal with in our lives, and for that, sometimes you need a bridge. And I want to potentially be that bridge between whether it's for myself, like, let's say getting that new job or finding the a business partner to
or
work
like
with.
In my case, like finding animators for a podcast, even if it's something as small as that.
Exactly, and I just hope to be that bridge that people are looking for, and just to find what they're looking for. Because of course, when you're in your own circle, you may not be able to find someone who you want something from. Because of course your circle is generally very small. But if you have a network or community in which I can provide a platform for, whether it's through WhatsApp or Telegram, I hope to bridge that gap in what your current set of resources and what you need essentially. So
to just thinking about it now, what your network does is effectively if you want to take this example of when someone's looking for a job, effectively there's two ways that you
Yeah.
can look for a job
Yeah.
hunting, go online, start
Yeah.
checking, and there's also word of mouth. Who do I know that can potentially
exactly.
get me a job? We all have friends or have been that person
Yeah.
who've asked, oh, can you get me a job
Yeah.
there? And so networking, for example, or the Obsidian Network, for example,
Yeah.
is that conduit for you to say, okay, I have a bank of individuals here that
Yeah.
can potentially, I can help, because you one thing you don't want as part of your networking, and one thing I would maybe advocate as well, is never be a complete taker. In fact, start
definitely.
off being the most giving, generous person at all, and that will all feed back to you in due time.
Because I feel like, especially what I've seen is that the more you give, the more you like. Literally, just like you said, the more you give, is the more you receive. Because people are kind of more friendly to those who they've seen have voluntarily given to wherever it is that you need.
Yeah.
So, for example, one guy was looking for a job. No, he was looking for a job at a specific accountancy company, but some guy was already working there. And so the guy helped him through the whole process of going, interviews, the cover letter, or, all those grueling stages of application process, and helped him get the job. And through that, like, people are a lot more accommodating to when that guy was asking for anything on our platform. And it just shows you that giving is just as important as receiving
within a network.
Exactly.
And it's what the network ultimately wants to bring to the individual. It wants to take away that sense of it's just A and B, and it wants to make it A, B, C, D, E, F, G are all working together for this certain goal. A can provide this, and F can then give A something in regards to this. But then none of it is a transaction sort of relationship.
No.
It's more a relationship where you want to do it. You're more you feel inclined to do it, and you want to help everyone else get to a bit better stage. And it's a collaboration to move forwards and move upwards.
Because I think, as I said before, a community only works if the members work as well. That's the value.
It's like a group project.
The thing is, it's strange that, like, I'm trying to build a group, because back in university I never wanted to do any group work.
I didn't.
Never.
There's always those. Who was I within? Because there's always those jokes
people.
of who are you within the group. If I'm gonna be deadly honest, I'm someone who comes in at like the third quarter, just like, okay, what we got here? Are we in a good position, bad position?
What we
Yeah.
doing, lads? What we got on?
Yeah. Where are we? Where have we got this
to? But as I was going back, so a community is only as good as the members within it.
Correct.
And so what I'm really an advocate for is that people should use the network, because at the end of the day, we all want something that we want to work for us. And so the network is literally at the palm of your hand. It's on WhatsApp. It's not like you have to travel to Timbuktu to go access the network. And with something that's so easily accessible, like, why not benefit yourself the most from having that network at the palm of your hand? So
No, I fully agree, because there was a phrase that Clarence Avon actually said in his documentary. I would advise anyone who wants to find out about Clarence Avon. He's a really interesting character. If you're someone like me who doesn't necessarily want to be front and center in front of everyone, but very much wants to influence behind the scenes, I think Clarence Avon is definitely someone you should check out. Again, his surname is spelled Avant, so that you guys know. But he had a phrase in which he says, I don't have problems, I have friends. And to me, that speaks so much to what Obsidian can become. You don't have problems, you have friends that can help you deal with those problems. Because once you have a network or community, I say network, but network is the start of it. Community is where it ends up. And so any group whatnot is moving from a network into a community. And so with that, you've got people who you deem as friends and that can help you.
And even going on from that, like if I just list a few names in that he's actually helped to progress their career. So he's helped Obama when he was trying to become president. He's helped was it Bill Clinton? On his own campaign as well. He's helped Michael Jackson. He's helped Muhammad Ali. He's helped what's this person? Ludacris. He's helped Diddy. He's helped. So many
wide
people.
range of
yeah.
people.
The list is probably endless.
Yeah.
In just that, from those people who's helped, how that's then had a ripple effect for them to be helping other people, and how many other careers have been created from those deals that he's executed.
And he's effectively formed a community by himself, and the focal point is himself. However, the mantra of the community is to resemble how he has helped other people. And so you see it quite a lot with people who've come under him as they're trying to reciprocate this sort of mentorship that he gave to them and push it on to the next people. And again, this just goes back to the idea of just network collaboration, joining a network, being part of something, and that will lead you. Who knows where that will lead you? I think that's the most exciting part of it. No one exactly knows where that will lead them. So
and like I think a simple phrase for a network is or a simple expression is 1 + 1 = 3. Like that's something that I stayed with me for a very long time. 1 + 1 = 3, and because when you put two people together, when you have people as individuals, you can produce more as a group rather than individuals, and that's what I see a network is. And as they always
1
say,
+ 1 = 3.
Yeah, 1 + 1 = 3.
Never thought
goes against all the maths laws that we've
my
taught ourselves.
GCSE results were wrong.
and also like there's the kind of cliche phrase that people say, your network is is it your net worth is your network, or the other way around? Like either way, it's the same. It's the same meaning. So it's like your network is your net worth. So how your value judge yourself is dependent on who you're networking with and who you have access to as like a friend or someone that you can go to.
Your Maven.
Yeah, your Maven. This word I'm going to be using this word.
Maven and Super Maven. But you have to get to a certain stage before you can call yourself a Super Maven. Clarence Avon is a Super Maven. You are a potential Maven.
Nah. I'm putting Super Maven in my Twitter bio now.
And no one's going to know what it means, but I'm still going to put it there anyway. It might pique some interest. But yeah, no, that is so fascinating. So I just wanted to, let's round up here because we have been pushing on for quite a bit. But thank you very much, Deji, for coming and dealing with this mind-wandering topic of networking with me. Where can people find you?
Okay, so you can find. Okay, I'll give you my personal stuff. So you can find me. No one wants that. You can find me on Twitter, which is Deji DEJI_MG. Don't worry, this is from my young days. And then my Instagram is again Deji_S. And then the Obsidian Network. You can find us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. So what it's the Obsidian, which if you it's very long to spell.
If you don't know how to spell it, learn.
So it's the Obsidian and then NTWK. If you put that in Twitter, and on Instagram it's just the Obsidian Network, and it's the same on LinkedIn as well. So you can find us on any of those platforms and see what we do. And
one funny story, you said don't look at my Twitter handle, it's old. So a couple months back I was late for work and I needed to send an email to my manager to tell him I was going to be late. However, like everyone does, I have more than one email address. You have your serious one and you have your nonsense one, effectively. So just to give you guys a little background, so my email address was lilk287@hotmail.com. And using this email address, I sent an email to my direct manager and said, I'm going to be late. So I walked in and he was like, who's this? No, I walked in and he kept on looking at me, like giving me a weird smile. Like, I thought you were going to be angry I'm late, but okay, if you're happy, that's fine. But he was just like, so, Timi, what's lilk287?
Shit. No. That's my street name still.
And then I basically had to go into a whole conversation explaining what Lil Catastrophe meant. And catastrophe was coincidentally spelled with a K. But no. So I understand having a weird Twitter handle.
I think my one is Young G.
Young G.
Back in the day, I wanted to call myself Young General, but I agree with that. No, I wasn't worried. I wasn't fuck. I was just a guy trying to get his GCSE. Like, I was
Young
trying to-
GCSE. But yeah, so that is another episode of the Mind Wanderers podcast. Another book for the library that is your mind. I'm your host, Timi Sheteolu. Peace.
Somebody loves you back. It's so